impact the picks and bans that much since they haven't had that much time to play it. But it looks like they're going to go for an extremely different direction. I guess if you don't want to play the nerfed hero, just go for a hero that wasn't touched at all.
I don't know, Ogre Magi, he's been seeing a little bit of love as of late. I like seeing Ogre Magi, just a really solid support all around. Always offers something in most portions of the game. Always having the Ignite, a nice single target disable, can play incredibly aggressively early on, especially with his base stats being through the roof. And late game, you're always going to have Bloodlust, which is effectively handing out free Hyperstones as well as a little bit of a speed boost to your carries, which is amazing. So I definitely think that Ogre Magi deserves a little bit more praise, maybe not first pick, but then again, I still think he's a solid support. Razor, the next pickup from Moscow 5, although he saw a little bit of nerfs in the most recent patch that came out today, still is going to be seeing quite a lot of play.
5 seconds.
Yeah, the Ogre Magi Razor also work pretty well together. That's myself on the refresh stream. Okay, they work pretty well together, especially when you get to that Bloodlust point. Even before then, being able to Fire Blast Ignite into a static link walkdown is going to be able to put some serious damage onto pretty much anyone you could find. So it's a solid opening for M5, picking up heroes that haven't really been touched by the C patch. And well, Power Rangers, picking up the Scarith Mage first, very general hero, and usually it's going to be partnered up with a Centaur if you pick the Scarith Mage up first, although Earthshaker is also a viable hero to partner up with them. It is going to be that Centaur.
Yeah, no big surprises here. Earthshaker, I expect him to be banned out by either side, although he'd probably fit more into Power Rangers lineup than onto Moscow 5, is also another one of those just solid, stunning supports. As far as Moscow 5's secondary support, it could be pretty much anything, so there's not really much to talk about. Both of these drafts are fairly open-ended. Neither of them are leaning towards either direction. The Sand King being banned out by Moscow 5, I expect the Earthshaker to also be taken out.
Yeah, just getting rid of lots of stuns, no matter what, is going to help you. But if the enemy team really is short on stuns because you've banned them all out, then going for something like a Morphling, Weaver, Puck, those types of heroes is going to be a lot more appealing. Puck getting a rather early ban out along with that Tidehunter. Tidehunter a little bit more reasonable, I would say. Puck is most of the time a hero that you're okay with letting through the pool, especially if you already have a Skyrath Mage. Like, the Seal just got hurt a little bit by the recent nerfs, but between the Ancient Seal being an instant silence and Centaur Warrunner, Blink Hoof Stomp landing on Pucks most of the time, it's not that terrifying of a hero.
Yeah, I think Puck's still a good hero, but I think other mids might have been a little bit scarier for them to go up into, and if they are targeting those offlaners, I don't know, it just seems a little bit odd to see Puck in that banning slot. Right now, it's Moscow 5 that have the decision of where they want to take this draft right now. They have one ban, and they're following up with a pick. They do ban out that Earthshaker that we were talking about earlier on in the draft, and now, this pick could be pretty much anything. It's going to be a Batrider, probably one of the better offlaners still left in the pool. Nature's Prophet was there, but still, Batrider, pretty much unparalleled in his pickoff potential. Spectre is going to be the choice for Power Rangers. A pretty solid hero, even though there were fairly significant nerfs, most notably to her movement speed as well as to the haunt damage of the illusions. And Moscow 5 go ahead and pick up the Medusa, a very fast second stage to this draft, and both teams with a lot of late game power. I like Moscow 5's lineup a little bit more, but honestly that could change with this next pickup. The global potential coming out from Power Rangers is incredibly huge.
Yeah, Spectre as well as Ancient Apparition Ice Blast is going to be very dangerous. If Centaur decides to start a fight, then suddenly he's going to have a hell of a lot of backup in order to kill pretty much anyone. And 5 with this Medusa pick is going to be pretty much the same exact lineup that Power Rangers have. Maybe one side is going to be a little more aggressive, but Medusa, Spectre, both of them do tend to be played rather passively. Although Medusa can be played a little bit more aggressively. I have seen teams do it. I think I might have even seen Moscow 5 do that firsthand, where they get a good start and then they suddenly decide to push really hard with an early game Medusa. It's not the hero that you would really expect to be doing that, but it actually works pretty well. And Medusa overall, I would say, is a lot more useful than a Spectre, just because Stone Gaze is so ridiculous, especially if you have physical follow-up coming in from your Razor, and especially if your Medusa has a lot of Bloodlust early on. So it could be a little bit more of an aggressive slanted lineup for Moscow 5, but so far both sides having pretty similar amounts of late game.
I think it's going to depend on how the pickoffs go with the Batrider and Centaur once they get their Blink Daggers. if the first couple of pickoffs from the Batrider are on key targets, you kill the Spectre a couple of times, then maybe Moscow 5 are going to be more slanted towards going aggressive. And if they don't pan out exactly how you want them to, they still have that Medusa to fall back on. Vengeful Spirit, the last pickup for Moscow 5. This roaming duo coming out from them is very scary on a lot of ways to boost this Medusa's damage. Through the aura of the Vengeful Spirit, as well as that minus armor and the Bloodlust, this Medusa could get incredibly scary once she picks up her first two major items.
He's also going to be protecting the Batrider a little bit, making sure that Power Rangers don't get their hands on the Vengeful Spirit, who is one of the best counters to the Batrider. It would have been, either Skywrath or Vengeful taking your core role, which always gets a little bit weird, but regardless, it is going to be them with double stuns on their support. Not too many disables coming out from any of their other heroes, but really Power Rangers with the Spectre AA have yet to pick up a whole bunch of disables themselves. They have a lot of damage, but not that much lockdown in order to keep them there so that they could do that damage. So they need one more core, and I think someone with more crowd control is definitely going to be prioritized for the Power Rangers last pick. When talking about off-lane heroes, or core heroes rather, I don't really know. There aren't many protected farmers that actually have a stun. Maybe we're going to be seeing a Sven or something like that, but I don't know, against Medusa, or I don't even know what I'm saying. Spectre's the hard carry. Just ignore me. I'm drunk, apparently.
Yeah. Under normal circumstances, Sven mid might be useful, but then again, you're throwing it up in mid lane, presumably against a Razor, and even if it's a Batrider, neither of those lanes are really great for Sven. Honestly, the Puck would probably be what Power Rangers want here, or at least the first thing that comes to my mind, but they banned that out themselves. So yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to take this. They don't have a lot of time to think about it, but they definitely would love a little bit more lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it registered in my mind that Spectre is going mid. That was not something that happens ever. So, yeah, definitely not going to be a Sven. I don't even know why I went there. If you're talking about mid lane heroes matching up against the Razor, Viper's still in the pool. It doesn't offer them that much crowd control. Maybe an Ember Spirit, or it's going to be a Viper after all. So, yeah, when I'm not completely off my rocker, I'm going to be predicting the heroes fairly well. But, yeah, we are going to be seeing the last hero. Going to give Power Rangers a lot more early game potential.
Yeah. They're going to be able to kite this Medusa fairly effectively with the amount of slows that they have, but their hard lockdown is entirely in the Centaur Warrior's Hoof Stomp. They have also the silence from the Skywrath Mage, but that's about it. And these heroes, although they might consider getting a Scythe late, it's going to be fairly easy for Moscow 5 to deal with this amount of lockdown, especially if they're able to pick off the likes of the Centaur Warrior. Despite Power Rangers having the amount of damage that they do, it's still going to be pretty hard for them to keep people in place. 4 staffs on Moscow 5 would be wonderful for them, just to keep this Medusa at arm's length, because if they're able to keep the Spectre away from the Medusa is able to do a lot more damage. I would love to see the race car build coming out for Medusa, maybe like phase drums into Yasha or something along those lines. You can fight pretty early with it, and I think it would work pretty well this game. But we'll have to see as we load in.
All right, so of course the game is going to start off with a little bit of a pause, but yeah, I like what you said about 4 staffs. It is going to really punish Power Rangers for not having that much crowd control, especially with this Viper last pick. There aren't many heroes on Power Rangers, if there are any at all, that could punish this Batrider. Like if you jump in for a lasso, who's going to stop you? Maybe you get hit with a concussive shot, maybe you have to deal with an ice vortex, but that's pretty much it. And those things aren't that scary. So, I mean, maybe he gets hit with the hoof stomp, but that seems very unlikely. And if it does happen, then I think Moscow 5 will be fine fighting a fight where their Batrider is the only one to get hoof stomped. So, no matter what, this Batrider is going to be a large threat. And if M5 get, a 4 staff on one of their supports, maybe the Vengeful Spirit picks one up very early, then suddenly Power Rangers are going to have lots of trouble actually killing people. They have a lot of damage, as I said before, but they have to do it very quickly. And it's possible because they do have Ancient Seal and they do have the Shatter effect, but it's really hard.
It really is. That can all be changed based on how these lanes are going to work out, although I like Moscow 5's chances a little bit better. Their supporting duo can roam very effectively, and I'd like to see them do that. Killing a Viper is not the easiest, but they could put a lot of pressure on the Spectre just by missing off of the map. Just the double lockdown coming out from those two. We'll see how they're going to play it. Right now, we're just kind of waiting for everything to progress. We might be changing streams to Twitch at some point during the broadcast, and if we do, it'll be at twitch.tv/HeflaTV1. If that happens, and hopefully we're still going live on ESFX, but I can't load into ESFX right now.
Mine's working still. OBS
Okay,
hasn't crashed just yet, so It seems like we are going to stay the course, and then we will update you guys as we progress. But yeah, just waiting for this game to get going. As far as lanes are concerned, I do think the lanes are going to be fairly even. It depends on really how much the Spectre is punished by M5. It's definitely easier for Moscow 5 to shut down the Spectre than it is for Power Rangers to shut down a Medusa.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, on the Radiant side, it's going to be Power Rangers playing there, with Dirty Raw playing on the Spectre. Not sure if that's an official name. I think that's a stand-in, though. J4 going to be playing on Skyrath Mage, Suniko. On the Ancient Apparition, our mid laner is going to be Viper, played by Satchlo. And towards the offlane, we are going to have Cheshire Cat playing on the Centaur Warner.
Oh good, my OBS just disconnected. And then it crashed. Okay, well...
We're
I guess I'll
probably
try
going
again.
to be switching for game 2.
You're running your local recording, right?
Yeah, we have a
Okay,
pod.
good. All right, I'm gonna turn this shit back on, and we're gonna try to make it happen. If it fails one more time, then we are going to take more drastic measures. But hopefully, it will work. Because what are the chances of it dying twice? Right? That's impossible. Okay, on the M5 side, we got Blow Your Brain playing the Medusa, currently up on top lane with King R supporting as the Vengeful Spirit, going to be running into the War Runner for just a little while. PGG is going to be playing the Ogre Magi, expecting to be roaming very heavily with his boots opening. Shatata, aka Bigos, is going to be on the Razor, and that leaves... how do you pronounce this guy's name? I completely
Tron.
forgot. What?
Tron.
Tron, on the Bat Rider. That's so much easier, yeah.
Yeah, Cyrillic letters can get fairly problematic, at least for us English speakers. We have a rune being set on by PGG as well as King R. I think that's a haste rune, although PGG's blocking. Yeah, it's a haste. So that could set up something with these two supports roaming around. It looks like they're going to give it to King R, and they're waiting
Courier.
a little bit longer.
They might snipe the Courier
Oh.
right now. PGG.
Oh my goodness.
Just needs one nice hit, and the Run Crab. It's a spider. Oh, he canceled one attack, but he does land one. Has the boots, although he's slightly slower than the bug. Here comes the hasted Vengeful Spirit. This is going to be a Courier snipe. 35 seconds into the game. Not a bad start for the
No.
Moscow 5.
It's really not. I didn't expect that to happen. Where did they catch eyes on that Courier? Viper just decided to pick up boots first, up against the Razor, and that cost him the Courier as he had those deliver the items. Very peculiar to see that actually happen, but it pays off for these two supports, getting first blood on the Courier. Yeah, King R, haste rune put to good use. Right now he is going to be forced to tango, as he did take a little bit of damage from the tower, but still, a great start for them, despite not getting any hero kills.
Yeah, I don't really know why the Courier was there. Like, you usually can't depend on a Courier being in that position at that time, so I don't know what PGG was actually looking for, but does it really matter in the end? If you're going to run into a Courier, you're going to take it, and you're going to be happy about it as well. So Moscow 5 already off to a very nice advantage, and what we were talking about before, we would already give them a slight edge in the early game as well. So suddenly things for Power Rangers, I mean, it's only a minute 30 in, but definitely the start is not the start that they wanted. Losing your Courier at any stage is bad. Losing your Courier this early on is terrible. They are going to deward a couple of pole camps, though, so they have pretty much lockdown on the bottom lane as far as vision is concerned.
Yeah. The Spectre is farming well for Power Rangers, and the Batrider isn't able to put any pressure at all in this lane, currently doing worse than the Centaur, despite looking pretty similar as far as levels are concerned. Centaur has managed to find himself 7 CS, which is 7 CS the Batrider doesn't have. Batrider gets the bounty rune, now trading hits with J4. J4, 3 stacks of the Sticky Napalm, needs to be careful, this might be our first blood, but not with the Ancient Apparition here. Going to force Tron back, eats through his stick charges, but actually gets frozen. He's going to be our first blood as Suniko gets the last auto attack in.
It is so rare that you see Cold Feet proccing off and actually freezing someone without any real hard crowd control to follow. He didn't even have Ice Vortex. That was just remnants of a concussive shot, and Batrider, I don't think he had boots, although he might have. It's very unlikely that that ever happens, but Ancient Apparition, regardless, is going to be taking first blood, and well, I mean, first blood is first blood. If you land all 3 hits of the Chilling Touch, then you're going to be doing a lot of damage, no matter who is going to be taking quite a beating.
Yeah, for now, it's going to neutralize the fact that the Courier was sniped getting that first blood. Despite not to one of their cores, it's still going to be gold in PR's pockets.
Okay, my OBS just crashed again.
Oh dear. Okay, well hopefully we'll be able to get the admins okay to go live on Twitch, as this tournament is sponsored by ESFX, so we can't just willy-nilly switch over to that stream. It is very frustrating that this happens, but, you know, at least we have a VOD recording. If you want to watch the VODs, youtube.com/HeflaMilk is the place to do so. Hopefully you're watching us on the in-game ticket as well. We should have our audio going through there. So it's still worth us casting through as we do wade through these technical issues. Yeah, that's the way to put it. For now, luckily enough for us, it's a fairly passive game, and you're not missing much, as Viper pauses the game.
Oh,
so.
Thank you, Viper. That's actually very helpful. I'm going to switch some settings over, and we'll try it a third time. Hopefully it works. No, guys, don't start the game. Keep it paused longer. It's the only time you're going to hear me say that, but we're going to try this one more time, and then if this doesn't work, then nothing will work, like literally. So hopefully we're good now.
Yeah, Vengeful Spirit now with boots is going to match Cheshire Cat's pair of brown boots that are now going to be upgraded to Tranquils. Killing the Centaur is not very likely coming up from Moscow 5, and the Centaur is getting quite a decent amount from this offlane, currently at level 3. 1 point in each of his spells. We do have a stack being created by the Ogre. It's not going to be a triple stack, but he does have the double, as a link is going to be made in mid. The Ogre Magi does get the Fire Blast off, but Vigos is the one taking too much damage. The Cold Feet might proc on him, and it's not even going to be needed, as the auto attacks from the Viper are going to be enough. With 3 points in that poison attack, Shashlo is just putting a lot of hurt into that Razor, and that's going to be 2 kills. Going the way of Moscow 5, and they might find a King R with a hasted Cheshire Cat. This should be a fairly easy kill. They'll have a double edge, and that's going to secure the kill, if nothing else. He's not hitting. There we go, double edge going to be fogged out, but it doesn't matter. They'll find it. Now PGG running into 3 enemy heroes. He does have mana for a stun. He's going to let it loose onto Cheshire Cat. They bring in Vigos. He's going to try to get off the link, but doesn't steal any damage at all. On the sidelines, the Scarith Mage is flaring up, and they can't chase for anything else. And 3-0 Power Rangers looking fairly strong in this early game. After losing their courier before the first blood, after that, they've struck back in a big way.
You know, as strong as Ogre Magi is as a hero, just through inherent stats and just starting stat growth, stuff like that, he's only level 1, and the supports on Power Rangers level 3 are going to make quick work of an Ogre Magi, or at the very least ignore him. So I mean, Ogre Magi is pretty much the strongest hero at level 1. When it gets to 5 minutes, that's not really going to be the case anymore. Vigos taking quite a bit of damage. They're going to try to go for shots though, but with only level 1 Ogre, they can't really do that much right now. Viper going to get a little bit of damage drained out from him, but he's going to shrug that one off pretty easily, as Ogre Magi level 1, this late roaming is not going to be very effective. He needs level 3 at the very least if he wants to do anything. Boots aren't going to be helping him be aggressive right now.
A smoke might allow him to get the jump on the enemy team, but still, this Ogre is just not doing anything around the map. He hasn't been involved in any kills. He has 1 CS, and now finally picks his level 2. The Medusa's farming, which is great for Moscow 5, but then again, the Spectre is farming for Power Rangers. And it looks like the Spectre might be angling for a little bit more of an aggressive start, starting out with the phase boots, whereas Blow Your Brain looks towards a Lincoln Sphere, it seems.
Yeah, Lincoln Sphere is going to be pretty decent in this game. It'll block Cold Feet, it'll protect yourself against the Silence from the Skyrath Mage, potentially, the Viper Strike. So it'll get some okay value, though I think it's probably better to go for that Drum Yasha speed build that you were mentioning before. I just feel like it's, in general, a stronger way to play the hero, as then you could use Stone Gaze offensively, like try to stay in front of your enemies and turn them stone and then go to town on them. But, you know, it's a style choice, I guess, to some degree, and it's a decision that the Medusa is going to take in the other direction. They're going to set up for mid. Cheshire Cat with an Invis Rune, not really going to fool anyone, but Vigos can take a lot of damage regardless. Here comes the Haunt now. Vigos dropping very low. This is going to be death of the Brazier at the very least. PGG rotating him for Fire Blast, but he's taking so much damage. He's going to go down, not even going to be able to kill a J4, and King R, he's not going to get anything either. Power Rangers, they might lose an Ancient Apparition. No, Shashlo draws the aggro. Everyone is going to escape from this one. The score 6-0 in favor of Power Rangers, and Moscow 5 really struggling to get anything in this game.
They need this Blink Dagger on their Batrider to make something happen. But right now, it might be a little too late. The Spectre is going for a fairly aggressive build phase into the Urn of Shadows, already with 2 charges up into it. It's going to be a pretty useful item for the Spectre to have. I'm usually on the fence about Urn on Spectre, but this game, I think it can work out for them. You'll be able to farm in your lane pretty much non-stop and then join whenever you have a haunt. So I think that's pretty useful. As far as the Blink Dagger on the Power Rangers side for the Centaur, it's still a long time in coming. Despite having 3 assists, he hasn't been farming the lane at all after the earliest portions of this game. Moscow 5 are by no means out of it, but they just need more. Blow Your Brain is going to finish that Perseverance, and it's a matter of time before Moscow 5 are able to do anything. For now, all of their lanes are kind of stagnant, and they can't accomplish anything.
Yeah, really, it's the supports at M5 that need to pick up the slack. Blow Your Brain up on top lane is getting initiated upon. Cheshire Cat's going to take a Magic Missile, so he can't close in for a stomp, yet the slows from the Ice Vortex are going to continue. Blow Your Brain now forced into the Stone Gaze, and he's going to drop very low, but he will survive after all of that. And Well, really, this is the power of these supports. Level 3 Ice Vortex does slow by quite a large margin, and this Ancient Apparition, he's level frickin' 5, Skywrath level 4. VS and Ogre should be both level 3, they are, and later on they'll be able to do some pretty serious damage, like once Vengeful gets her levels up, just staying alive is going to be doing a lot of damage for the team. Ogre Magi, of course, with the multicast, but that's quite a long ways away, especially when you consider Power Rangers are going to have their ultimate so much sooner, and a Skywrath Mage ultimate or an Ancient Apparition launching an Ice Blast is going to be just as deadly, if not more so.
Yeah, right now Tron is completely in farm mode inside the jungle. He's going to get maybe one of his creeps stolen by the Centaur, but isn't able to accomplish that. He will get one of the larger creeps, but it is a Dark Troll as they're going to relocate in their Spectre. Where she's going to haunt to? She's going to go into King Art instead of the Bat Riders. They're looking for this Vengeful Spirit. Stampede going to use his King Art under the tower, gets the Magic Missile off. King Art still surviving. Blurry Brain does not have his ultimate for 30 seconds, but the Fire Blast onto the Spectre. They'll be able to secure the kill on their hard farming carry who looked for the kill up in top. J4 tagged by the Ignite is going to be taking quite a bit of damage, slowed down by the sticky napalm. Now they have a lasso from the Batrider, probably going to spend it here, or will he? Just going to run down J4 with those stacks of sticky napalm. Although the Skywrath Mage is fast, he's going to turn for an Arcane Bolt before he falls, and he will indeed do so. 6-2, Moscow 5 just get thrown a bone by Power Rangers, and that's your Blink Dagger on your bat.
Yeah, that was a little bit too over-aggressive from the Power Rangers. As good as a position that they are in, diving into your 1 tower, knowing that you could be teleported upon by a whole bunch of heroes is going to be very risky. I don't know what exactly they're talking about, but it seems like we might have some ping issues. I'm fine, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this game isn't going to be interrupted anymore, but yeah, Moscow 5 get a free one, as you said. Power Rangers willingly diving a tower that aggressively is probably not going to happen, especially with having the Spectre lead the charge is definitely not what you want to have happen, and they're going to try to go for the Razor over on the mid lane, making a smart decision. He's going to straight TP out of here, punishing Power Rangers for their lack of crowd control, but still Moscow 5, they are going to be in a slightly better position now that they have a Blink Dagger on their bat.
Another pause coming out from Viper, and it looks like they want to reload this game. I'm going to go ahead and check their ping right now. It looks fine, to be honest. Like, I don't see anything wrong. Very peculiar.
Well, I mean, I don't speak what they speak, so it seems like we're just going to keep going, since it seems like the admin agrees with you.
Huh. Okay.
Mid tower could use a
Well, that's interesting. We are going to unpause and get back into this game.
All right, so Spectre still happily farming away, as is the Medusa. Power Treads picked up on Blow Your Brain, so be able to contribute something, but it's going to be Diddy Ra, who's in a little bit of trouble. Magic Missile already used, and now the Fire Blast. Here comes J4, a little bit too late to this party. Stampede will get him out of trouble, but it's way too late to save the Spectre. Batrider showing off his shiny new Blink Dagger, and it's going to get him a kill, and I expect it to be getting him quite a few more kills going down this game.
Yeah. It's Moscow 5. After the last fights, they've been able to kill the Spectre twice, which is huge for them. Although the kill score is 6-3, we'll take a look at the graphs right now, and it's going to be completely evened out. With the comeback mechanics being slightly nerfed, it actually doesn't matter all that much, and it's completely zeroed out in gold and experiences a slight lead towards Moscow 5. So it's going to be back in their game. As I said, the Blink Dagger and the Batrider, it's a crucial item, and Tron is showing us that, as they've been able to kill off the Spectre twice. Razor in the mid, going to put a lot of damage into Nico, although the ultimate, Nikos is going to be forced to TP out, but he's going to die in base if nothing else, and dies right where he's standing. Too much damage coming out from these two. A little bit ballsy coming out from the Razor, looking for that Ancient Apparition kill. He's going to be punished for it.
Yeah, Razor right now is not that tanky. He has 3 deaths to his name. He only has Brown Boots, so it's not even like he has phase to get himself out or Power Trez to survive or anything like that. So Razor's actually pretty soft right now, and it seems like Power Ranger's definitely not going to be suckered into the, you know, Razor's tanky, let's not go for him kind of mindset. They're going to punish him, and they're going to get as much as they can. Viper Strike and an Ice Blast, this is actually a pretty early Ice Blast, all things considered, is going to be devastating. And when you add a whole bunch of dots on top of an Ice Blast, it's usually a slow, excruciating death for the enemy, but sometimes it's just really fast. And yeah, you mentioned that the Blink Dagger was very crucial on the Batrider. That's an item that Cheshire Cat still doesn't quite have yet. He's so very close, but he needs it in order to kind of redeem the fact that he does not have it. I mean, that doesn't really make much sense, but the Batrider has his. He needs his so that he can apply just as much pressure back onto M5.
Right now, less than 100 cold for Cheshire Cat, just awkwardly sitting on the back lines. His Tranquil Boots regen sits in. If he dies here, it could be absolutely crucial. You'd lose a couple hundred gold. When you're saving up for an item like Blink, that's like a minute delayed off the timing. And a minute without Blink Dagger is a minute where you're not putting on that pressure, and they might be able to get this kill with a blink on the Batrider. Currently Fireflied up. Centaur is not going to get caught out here as he's playing incredibly defensive and just waiting for the gold to tick up so that he can purchase that blink of his own.
Yeah, he really doesn't want to start a fight right now. He just wants to wait for 30 seconds, get his gold by just the 1 gold you get, and then be happy with his blink. If he had it right now, he would be ecstatic to use it on Blow Your Brain, but he will move forward and double-edge that creep. Blink Dagger secured, and he's desperately going to need it because Moscow 5, they're bringing pretty much all the heroes up to the top lane. Ogre Magi has found himself level friggin' 7. I don't know when that happened, but this guy is really huge right now. Now Cheshire Cat, he might get initiated upon. There's the lasso in. He does have a Stampede against out of here. Now the Ice Blast is going to connect onto a couple of heroes. Cheshire Cat, though, still in a lot of trouble. He's going to get turned to stone. Swap out from King R. Is going to put him right into the Fire Blast range. That will kill off Cheshire Cat, although not before laying down a Stomp. At the same time, King R is taking quite a bit of damage from the Viper. Is going to get that kill. Blow Your Brain now hitting and hiding in the corner. He's cold feeded up, and he's not going to be able to escape these dots. He's going to go down also. And it looks like that's going to be it. A 2-for-1. In favor of Moscow 5, even though they're getting the initiating, the Centaur was just simply too tanky right there.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems for them was the Vengeful Spirit swap, and that the Ogre Fire Blasted before the Stone Gaze wore off. Although Stone Gaze amplifies the physical damage, it does make you resist magic 100%, so that Fire Blast did nothing. And the swap just took the Centaur further away from the Medusa, so the right clicks weren't coming out. If either of those two things hadn't happened, it would have been a cleaner kill for Moscow 5. The Medusa was forced to go very deep under the tower in order to get that Centaur kill, and ends up costing her life. Moscow 5 just going a little too aggressively. Ancient Apparition, he's hunting for the Batrider as he's farming up the jungle. Good game sense coming out from the Ancient Apparition, although Tron was farming the other camp and is going to make it back to base safely. Still, it's definitely worth it to shoot for those Ice Blasts. A fairly low cooldown, and if you can get the kill on the Batrider, all the more power to you.
I don't believe the Spectre realityed into that top fight. So she's been farming the bottom lane, 2,900 gold in the Spectre, and she's pretty much well on her way to her relic. M5, they have a Lincoln Sphere pretty much up on Medusa, so about similar amounts of farm on these two heroes, but the Spectre just needs the relic a lot more than the Medusa needs the Lincoln. They're going to potentially set up for the mid lane. They're pushing this tower and using an Ice Blast to scout. Fortification is going to fly, and at the same time, bottom lane is going to take some pretty severe heat. I think this might be a tower trade. Viper's going to take his. Is the Medusa going to take hers? It looks like with no response from Power Rangers, this tower is pretty much forfeit. J4 is spotted out by the Razor. The Batrider in the air following up. Cheshire Cat's going to get his Blink Dagger canceled. Now the Blink for Lasso. The Stampede's a little bit too late, and Tron's going to walk right into a Mystic Flare, though. He's going to go down so very easily. Oh, man, that was a perfectly placed Mystic Flare. Now the interrupt onto Razor's teleportation out. Power Rangers, they cannot afford to keep on fighting this one, although they do have an Ice Blast. There is rotation support coming in from Moscow 5. It's done onto Sneko. PGG looking to follow up, although his range just isn't there. It should be a swap back, and it will be. Razor's going to secure the kill, and we do see Viper, I believe, teleported down to the bottom lane. He got the tower deny, actually. I didn't see that one. But it's a nice little pickup for Power Rangers. Killing off the Batrider in exchange for the Ancient Apparition is already a good trade. When you add a tower deny on top of that, that's just gravy.
It was a dominating spree ended from the Ancient Apparition. So if it was just the Batrider for the AA, I think Moscow 5 is still going to be okay with that. Although, still, the deny coming out from the Viper is going to tip that trade in the scales of Power Rangers. Still, the Medusa is having a lot of farm. She's going to have that Lincoln Sphere, although this Lincoln's, I really don't like the choice, as you said earlier. It's going to be nice for the stats. Spectre bumps in the Medusas. They're both farming their woods, and Spectre's just going to drop a dagger and walk to the low ground. Fairly interesting. Either way, we are going to see that relic completed by the Spectre, and the jump in power from the Radiance compared to the Lincoln Sphere is just going to be so huge for the Spectres. The likes of the Vengeful Spirit, the Ogre, and even the Razor are almost going to die just to the Spectre ultimate. And if you have the Centaur jumping in, or an Ancient Apparition Ice Blast on top of it, it's more or less a guaranteed kill. However, Batrider initiation up in top, they're going to find themselves a jump onto the Spectre. This could be a huge death, although the counter initiative for Cheshire Cat catches too. With the double edge, they're going to be able to focus down the kill. They do lose their Spectre. Did she buy her relic beforehand? Ultimate from Blow Your Brain will keep the Medusa pretty safe. His Satchelo is not going to be frozen, but right-clicking up against PGG, going to be multicasted, although PGG looks like he's going to give up his life for the better of his team, as the Centaur looks for more, finds the double edge, as well as the hoof stomp onto the Venge, and it's going to be a 3-for-1 trade. As far as 3-for-1 trades are concerned, Moscow 5, this is the best one that they could hope for, but still, now that Power Rangers are up against this Tier 1 tower, it's still going to be a beneficial trade, and Spectre crucially buys the relic beforehand. They might find more on the back lines. They're looking for the jump on Vigos, but no way to interrupt that TP. He'll be able to make it back to base.
At the very least, it secures them this tower. Losing your Spectre is never good, but she did buy her relic right before she went down, so it's not really going to be like she lost a lot of gold, not really going to be her being slowed down that much. And M5 losing a whole bunch of heroes. Centaur really having the impact that the Blink Dagger Centaur you would really expect from. I mean, the Batride initiation was okay, but he couldn't exactly get himself out of range before he was punished. He got immediately shut down, and it's without a Force Staff, it's kind of to be expected. The Centaur had just so much of a better time in order to counter-initiate, landed a Hoof Stomp onto 2, annihilated the Batrider, and pretty much set up the rest of the fight for the Power Rangers, who did bring a lot more heroes to bear a lot faster. So Power Rangers are going to take the upper hand on that one. Despite losing their Spectre, it's an acceptable loss, and well, after all that, we do see a Force Staff from the Ancient Apparition. This is an incredibly fast item on any support hero, let alone an AA, so he's going to be pretty happy in this game, and lots of other big items coming up on the Power Rangers as well. Shotslow's working for his Aghanim Scepter. J4 has a gem, so they're looking to get a lot of map control very early on. And, well, the Relic still is sitting in the Spectre's inventory, but she's very close to her Radiance.
Yeah, we do have the good to go to switch over to Twitch stream, so if you are able to hear me on the ESFX stream, we're going live on twitch.tv/HeflaTV1 as we see Vigos potentially get initiated on. Kiilstofte's going to line Ice Blast barely clips onto him, although the Centaur doesn't actually jump, and right now it's Batrider's turn to look for something with the Firefly. It does catch eyes on both his sports, and it's going to find the blink onto Shatchlow. The reality, however, is going to come in as a Hoof Stomp lands on a 2 as well as a double edge on a PGG. Tron is going to be frozen down to the ground, and they'll find a kill onto the Razor as well. A 3-for-0 exchange. Power Rangers potentially looking for more as King R is going to be tagged by that Spectral Dagger and just chase down Concussive Shot as well. Blink double edge from Cheshire Cat will secure that kill, and another tier 1 tower will fall soon after. Medusa's putting a little bit of pressure up on top, and we'll be able to get that tier 1. And luckily enough for Moscow 5, she does survive throughout all of that, but still a huge win for Power Rangers and a gold swing of about 3,000 gold.
Alright, do you have Twitch going up?
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna shut mine down, because the stream was still technically working, but the page wasn't loading, so that's pretty problematic. So this stream, ESFX, is going down, guys. Twitch.tv/HeflaTV1 is where you're going to find the rest of this game. Again, apologies for the confusion, but there's not much we can do about it. So I'm going to go offline here. We will still be online elsewhere.
Yep, then there's your Radiance on the Spectre.
I mean, the Batride initiation was okay, but he couldn't exactly get himself out of range before he was punished. He got immediately shut down. They seem to know that we need without a Force Staff little pauses in order to help us out.
Yeah, okay, so I forgot to mute the Twitch stream, so there was a little bit of an echo, like from 2 minutes ago from you, and I was very confused for a second, but there we go. In the game we go as, oh, Viper. Why? Sashlow abandoned, we have to remake.
They keep on saying go NA 10. I don't really know what that means. Like, I could assume that means, like, go to an NA server, but these people won't want to go to an NA server, so, Power Rangers... Well, let's not worry about that. Let's focus on getting these streams up, because we have our problems to worry about as well.
Yeah, I suppose so. So sorry if this is awkward on stream right now, but, you know, it happens. We're switching over to Twitch, just getting all of the social network stuff. I think that the, yeah, title is all good. Yeah, it's a mess. Sorry about this, guys. But I think we do have to remake. Yeah, that's official. We have to.
All right, so I guess we're just gonna have like a short intermission break or something like that. I don't know what's happening. I don't speak what they speak, so we're just gonna run with this one, guys. Should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, Power Rangers have completely left. Moscow 5 are still here.
Oh, I completely left.
Okay. Well, as soon as there's another lobby, I'm gonna completely leave.
Okay, I'll let you know when that happens.
For now. I'm gonna go ahead and get all of the behind-the-scenes stuff done.
All right, so it seems like the stream on Twitch is looking fine, as it normally is. Good old Twitch, man. This is actually going to let us switch the broadcaster, so you also control camera in-game, too. So that's actually pretty convenient.
I suppose so. Cool. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just going to leave. Looks like we have a lobby.
Yeah, lobby is up.
Sweet. I don't know, getting these remakes is always a huge...
I'm just gonna watch the stream and see. It should load at like 20 minutes, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah, they paused it literally at 20:02, so or they paused it once at 20:02. Yeah, they're going to try to load it at 20 minutes, and no one died or anything since then, so it seems fine.
Alrighty.
Oh, God. This is like next level curse.
It is next level curse. Like, I don't
Like,
even know.
it's not just in-game, it's out of game, too. Like, what's next? We're going to have, like, people busting down our doors and demanding our blood.
I suppose so. Or more than that. Oh, I don't
I hope
know.
not more than that.
I hope not either. We're going to be abducted mid-cast. Like, the aliens are just gonna come off, lift off our roof, and then take us to Mars. It's gonna happen.
I guess it could be worse. They could just annihilate us, and we'll just, like, stop the broadcast. It'll just be the camera not even moving and people wondering what happened.
Well, I don't know.
We'll be like, guys are being abducted, send help.
I mean, if you're going to be annihilated, that seems, I don't know, less bad than being abducted, experimented on, and then killed. I think I'd rather just.
Usually they let their victims go, right? That's why they have so many stories.
I suppose so. So maybe it's okay. As long as I don't remember anything, I'm good.
Yeah, but most of the time the stories involving alien abductions involve probing, and I'm not a big fan of that. Like, it's not really my cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea either. Let's see. Let's update the score on stream. We are going to have PR. It's currently 0-0. This is game number 1, reload number 1 at 20 minutes in. Yeah.
All right, so Power Rangers are here. When you left the game, were all of Moscow 5 still in the game?
They were there. Like, they didn't leave.
Well, they should leave.
They should. They should. Yeah. It looks like PGG's not very happy.
PG says they didn't agree to a load and they just left.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of did just bail. Like, Shacho the Viper, he was just, yo, I'm out of here. We are just going to load the game. So maybe they're just in protest, but, I mean, Power Rangers can't reconnect to the other game. Moscow 5 are the only ones who could join into this one, so seems like a pretty clear solution to me.
Oh, dear. It's something. I'm really tempted to just turn on music on the stream.
Oh, do it.
Yeah. Let's go back to music. Sorry about this, guys. It's a mess. We'll get back to you as soon as we know what's happening.
This is you ending fire, then we shall all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, oh, stand by and we will watch the flames burn over and over the mountainside. And if we should die tonight, we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, holding out, Father, oh, prepare us flames burn open on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollow souls. I see fire blood in the breeze. I hope that you remember me. Surely I'll do the same. Confined in mountain holes, we got too close to the flame. Calling out, Father, oh, hold fast and we will watch the flames burn over and on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire hollow souls. I see fire blood in the breeze. And I hope that you remember me.
Well, okay, looks like we're all good to go. Sorry about playing the long intro. I didn't know exactly how these things worked, but apparently we're back at 20 minutes in the game number 1, as both teams have decided to remake after a fairly sketchy disconnect coming out from Power Rangers. But, you know, it's the best that we can do in this situation. Nothing really happened after 20 minutes, so it's pretty much the same game that happened previously. Either way, this is HeflaTV, and we're covering the Yard Red Festival quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken, between Power Rangers as well as Moscow 5. I'm Grandis V. I'll be joined by Mike Loris, and into the game we go.
Yep, just to clarify, guys, this is still game 1. We just had a simple pause, reconnect kind of thing. Nothing else is going on, I don't think. And, well, it's just going to be the same exact game as last time. If you were not in the stream, if you couldn't access the stream for whatever reason, unfortunately, we can't bring up the gold and experience to bring you up to date, but it seems like Power Rangers have quite a lead on them. They've taken some pretty nice fights. Recently, they have a Radiance on their Spectre already. They have a really farmed Ancient Apparition, and their Scarlet Mage also doing quite a ton of damage, whereas Moscow 5, they've been struggling to initiate with their Bat Rider. Medusa's been getting farmed, but everyone else on M5 has been pretty much crushed.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up the state of the game. All of the chips are currently in Medusa. They have a Yasha as well as Lincoln Sphere on Blow Your Brain, but that's not going to carry the game in and of itself. You really need that Manta Style and then Scotty on Blow Your Brain to really do things. In order to do that, they need to find initiations and not get picked off like the Vengeful Spirit. Now looking for the Medusa as well as PGG, both being sold by the concussive shot. There's going to be a Scarlet Mage ulti on the Blow Your Brain. Blow Your Brain's going to be obliterated. 3 kills going the way of Power Rangers. And now a tier 2 tower probably going to follow suit. I was lagging a little bit through there. Not sure if that's a remake thing or what have you. But either way, hopefully it's not too terrible on screen. That's just a huge win for Power Rangers. Killing the Medusa is always wonderful, and now they get 2 supports as well as the tower on top of it. There's just not really a bright lining for Moscow 5.
Yeah, they really need to be the ones initiating as opposed to getting initiated upon. It's damn hard when the entirety of the enemy team, or 4 of the enemies, are smoked up and the Spectre is able to reality in, and then suddenly your 3 heroes who, usually are pretty safe when you're in groups of 3, are going to be outnumbered by quite a large margin. And M5, without the correct heroes in the correct places, are going to take a pretty severe loss. They are going to try to make something happen on their own, as Batrider with the Vengeful Spirit Ogre, all 3 smoked up, and they're going to rotate down looking for the Spectre. This is going to be a pretty easy kill, I think, unless M5 just severely screw this one up. I don't think Spectre has enough durability in order to withstand this, though she does have level 3 dispersion, which is pretty nice. The lockdown and stun duration of these 3 heroes is just way too huge.
Magic Missile following up after the Fire Blast, and then they multicast for good measure. It's going to be a very straightforward kill, and it's going to be Moscow 5 striking back, although it's still on the back foot. Killing the Spectre once is nice, but they need to replicate that multiple times to really get back into this game. Right now, it's just going to be fairly passive. Moscow 5 don't really want to start things. The only way they're going to find kills is if they can find those solo pickoffs with PGG Batrider as well as the Vengeful Spirit. They might find Suniko. They're going to swap him back. Magic Missile to follow up, although the Batrider already backed off by quite a bit, and PGG's having difficulty getting in range here, especially with the Centaur ultimate. It'll be tagged by the Ignite, but I think Suniko's going to be able to get out of here. No, the Flame Break cancels the TP, and Suniko going to be followed up with the Magic Missile, ending a dominating spree again on this Ancient Apparition. Moscow 5 striking back, and the graphs are going to reflect that it's going to put a little bit of a dent in Power Rangers' lead up until now.
Yeah, the graphs are going to be screwed up a little bit because of the remake, but still Moscow 5 killing off the Ancient Apparition. They killed him off twice, and both times they've ended dominating streaks, so lots of gold that the Ancient Apparition has been accruing, but at the same time is giving a lot of gold to the M5 heroes, and this is going to help them initiate down the line. Levels on the Ogre Magi are pretty damn nice, same on the Vengeful Spirit, so these are pretty important kills that M5 are going to be picking up, as they pretty much need to get a kill whenever the lasso is on cooldown. Like right now, Tron has his lasso cooling down in 7. He should be looking to get into position to get someone to go down. And I mean, if the Batrider keeps on doing that, then it doesn't really matter what Power Rangers lead is like, but I don't really know if they're going to have the time and place to do it, as we might see a fight around the Roshan area. It is going to be everyone dodging a fight for now, and Medusa has a double damage. This is not a fight that Power Rangers should be willing to take.
Yeah, right now Blurry Brain just going to put 1 arrow into Viper, although Chatchwell hardly feels it. A very tanky Viper right now, with Mechanism, Power Treads, as well as the Aghanim Scepter completed. It's going to be fairly comfortable, and the double damage eventually is going to wear off for Blurry Brain. So unfortunately for Moscow 5, aren't able to take the fight with that DD on their Medusa, but still are going to be fine with the fact that they're able to maintain the farm inside their own jungle with Blurry Brain. Currently looking for a stack on this medium camp. I think that's going to go ahead and stack that camp and just accelerate the Medusa's farm by that little bit. Efficient play coming out from Blurry Brain. He's getting closer to that Manta style. Once he has the Manta, it'll be a lot easier for Moscow 5 to take the fights, especially if Blurry Brain doesn't have to worry about the silence from your Scarth Mage, especially when he's getting boosted by the Bloodlust. Currently, level 1.
And we do see Power Rangers smoking up as for Chilling Touch into everyone except for the Spectre, who is going to haunt in whenever they find someone. M5, they're getting a lot of accelerated farm because Medusa has a split shot, but not if good if this happens. Blurry Brain is hit with the Ice Blast, swap out, going to buy him a little bit of space, but the Mystic Flare is going to get dropped as well. Blurry Brain is down, and King R is going to go down as well. M5 very quickly lose 2 heroes. At the very least, Batrider off to the side is going to be spotted by a dagger, but that should be about it, as they should rotate over to the mid lane and try to take this tower. It's just the rotations from Power Rangers. Every single time they rotate, they're getting a little bit more than M5's rotation. Like, killing off a Spectre is good, but Power Rangers twice in a row have killed off Medusa with their smoke ganks, and that's pretty good because they get another hero at the very least in addition to that.
EGG turns in Fire Blast onto Cheshire Cat after the attempt of the jump onto the Ogre Magi. Will drop Cheshire Cat to about half, but still Tier 2 tower falling in the favor of Power Rangers. Power Rangers are getting a lot out of this map as far as the control and the towers are concerned. PGG tagged by the King Strut as well as the Viper Strike, going to be dove under tower. The Ancient Apparition Ice Blast will secure his demise as Ancient Apparition notches that kill onto his belt, currently working on his next spree. Ancient Apparition getting close to that Aghanim Scepter as Batrider thinks about initiating, but isn't going to do so. If Suniko didn't go for the Force Staff or the Urn, would have had it already, but it's still going to be a pretty decent timing for that Ancient Apparition Ags, especially if they're able to keep up these kills. Scarth Mage is going to make up for the fact that they have very little to cancel those TPs in the Evil Scepter. I think it's a good choice from the Scarth Mage, if for nothing else, to cancel the TPs for Moscow 5.
Yeah, and at best, it's a support with a real item. Like, this Yule Scepter is actually an item that could help out, give him a lot of mana regeneration, and just
Vigos.
be more than nothing. Is Vigos in the bottom lane is going to get annihilated. Blink in, Hoof Stomp into Ice Blast is going to very easily kill off that Razor. Didn't even have a chance to pop his BKB, and that's the amount of burst damage that Power Rangers have on their side. That wasn't even like their highest damaging heroes. Like Scarth Mage wasn't even there, and if he was there, M5, they would have lost so many other heroes if they got caught in the crossfire. So it's going to be M5 or Power Rangers playing a very solid 4 Protect 1 strategy. The Spectre has been happily farming away, now very close to the heart of Tarask, while the rest of the heroes have been farming enemy heroes. So M5, they need to make something happen. I think they need to go for a Roshan or a tower push or something, but just staying the course is not going to work.
No, it's really not. Currently, Medusa Bloodlusted paired up with King R. There's just not a safe place on this map for the Medusa to farm. Their jungle is quite possibly the most dangerous place, in fact. A lot of deep wards coming in from Power Rangers. They're going to keep eyes on wherever these supports are, as well as wherever the Medusa is farming. And right now, the safest camps that Medusa is going to consider farming are currently being watched, although that ward is going to time out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, taking a quick look at the smoke status of Power Rangers, they are currently completely out, so they've been using them pretty much constantly, and they've been getting quite a lot. Cheshire Cat in the bottom lane is going to get lassoed back deep into the tier 2 tower. Here comes the Spectre support. Not even going to reality in. I don't think it's needed, although they're going to go in on King R because they can get this kill very easily. Go for Vigos as well, because why the hell not? Instantly, the Razor goes down. Once again, not enough time to pop the BKB as this Hoof Stomp comes a little bit too quickly. That's going to be another 2 kills easily done by Power Rangers, and Spectre's really going to reap the benefits of that. Now Heart completed, and should be a tower push as well. M5, they're just bleeding heroes, and they're not getting anything in response.
They're really not. I think a decent amount of this is contributed to Medusa's item build. It's just never going to get online, I feel. Despite this Medusa at the top of the net worth chart, usually you'd say, oh, that team is looking pretty good. Their Medusa has farm. But the farm is in a Lincoln Sphere and a Manta style, which isn't going to allow the Medusa to take fights effectively, or even farm effectively. I just don't really get the idea behind it. I mean, they're nice items to have on your Medusa in a 6-slotted scenario, but it's going to take too long in order to get there.
I think she was definitely depending on the Razor to be doing a lot more heavy lifting. The Razor hasn't been doing jack this entire game. Like, BKB on Razor is fantastic. Like, it's a great item, but when that's all you have, and when you're playing in that solo mid role and you've died 6 times, the Razor is going to be a fairly irrelevant hero moving forward. I mean, the Ogre Magi Vengeful, I think, could do so much more than the Razor. Batrider, of course, has a lot on his plate. Really, M5, this isn't how they envisioned their lineup. They are going for this Medusa build, expecting to have a lot more space because she's not going to be the only one to be pressured into performing. But that's the case right now, and Blur Brain's going to have to make some serious plays in this game. Taking an Aegis is the right start, and I think this is actually going to be one of those games where Medusa is going to have to go Rapier. If not, then I think she's just going to get out DPS'd.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Despite being a very risky item to go for, especially with the Centaur blinking at you and a lot of damage going your way, I think it's a necessary evil, especially if you have the Aegis on your side. But with an Ultimate Orb already committed to by the Medusa, the Rapier is going to be a long time in coming before your Blur Brain's even going to be able to think about picking up that item. He'll have the Aegis now, but there's no way he's getting it before the next Roshan.
Yeah, curiously enough, Power Rangers not even throwing an Ice Blast into that area. I mean, Ancient Apparition has thrown a couple already towards the Roshan pit, but for whatever reason, deciding not to, and they could have easily crashed that party, Power Rangers. I mean, they have a pipe now in the Centaur. They had Haunt and a Spectre who has a Heart of Tarask, so she's extremely durable. M5, they're so very lucky that they got out of that Roshan pit alive. It could have been so bad for them. It could have been potentially Rax's if Power Rangers were in the area and decided to contest. I mean, granted, the map control of M5 is that so as to protect the Roshan, as they have Observer Wards and Sentries freaking everywhere, but either way, it's a very lucky break for M5, but will it matter in the end? Because still Power Rangers are not fazed by the fact that the enemy team has an Aegis. They're going to go directly into the enemy side of the map and try to look for blood. However, it might be J4's blood that they ultimately spill. Yule Scepter's going to keep him safe with the Force Staff as well. Batrider's not going to get anything yet. He still has the lasso, though, so it's not disastrous. It's not all over for M5, but they do not get their target. They do force out the Stampede, which is, I guess, pretty nice, but I don't know if they can make anything happen right now. They're going to go for a tier 1 tower push, and that should be pretty possible.
No, especially if they find Siniko here. Force Staff will pull him back decently far, especially now that you have the swap into Fire Blast, follow up with the Magic Missile. Siniko is going to fall. No Ice Blast in this fight, as well as no Stampede. Is going to make it a lot easier for Moscow 5 to take this tier 1, which is gold that they desperately need. and I think it's going to succeed. Right now, PR, they do have the Haunt from the Spectre, and if they find a good opportunity with the Centaur, maybe there's going to be a contest, but right now Centaur is not even close. Going to be farming up the enemy jungle, and it is just going to be a tier 1 that's set. They'll glyph this because it is going to be refreshed after this tower falls, but that's about all that they're going to commit to this.
I mean, it's a tier 1 tower, 32 minutes into the game. It's not a terribly huge deal for Power Rangers to give up. Hell, they could probably even get away with giving away a couple tier 2s as well. I mean, those you would be a little bit more inclined to defend, but really they're in no hurry to defend their towers when their Spectre is just getting so much farm. Cheshire Cat is in such a dangerous position right now, but I don't even think he knows about it. He's just happily farming away those mud golems, and M5, they're not going to run into him at all, so that could have been potentially dangerous. But Power Rangers, they lose a tower, not a big deal. They still have all the outer towers from M5, and they're just slowly but surely getting a little bit more farm on their Spectre, the Viper, and the Centaur, all carrying quite a heavy weight as well. Manta-style Aghanims mech on a Viper is quite a lot of farm, and well, as I mentioned before, Pipe on the Centaur and M5, they're going for a Heart on their Razor, which is going to be very nice and everything, but I think he's a hero that Power Rangers can just ignore.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Right now, the Razor's not going to be hitting hard at all. Even if he gets a decent link off, he's still going to be more or less forgettable inside the team fights. Razor is really offering nothing. I don't know. It's very sad to see Razor this behind. Currently 2-6-0. It's not a happy game to be VGOS. So yeah, Centaur currently continuing his farming mission up in the top lane, just going to be putting a little bit of pressure onto Moscow 5. And right now, it doesn't feel like Power Rangers care very much that Moscow 5 is up in Aegis, and I think rightfully so. They're not going to be able to do much about it at all. The Spectre is farming simultaneously as the Razor is farming inside their jungle. It looks like everybody's just existing symbiotically. Right now, we are going to have a potential aggressive move coming up from Moscow 5 as they're looking for a smoke. No, it's just going to be the Scotty from the Medusa on that courier. So right now, it is going to be a very tanky Medusa. I think your next item is Divine Rapier, however.
Yeah, I mean, as long as M5 aren't being pushed, they're not going to feel pressured into going for such a Hail Mary item. Though they are significantly behind, they should always keep that in mind. The fact that Power Rangers aren't pushing is actually a little bit concerning. As powerful as Spectre is in the late game, the Centaur and Viper, they're going to fall off, and they need to be able to always be relevant if they're going to take Medusa. It's going to be very farm. The initiation now onto J4. They're going to annihilate that Scout Mage, so no Mystic Flare this fight, but the Haunt is now in doing ton of damage. Tron is going to teleport away just barely, and Blurbrand on the front line is at full HP, still with the Aegis available. It's going to be Power Rangers pretty much on a full retreat. Ditchiraz is going to try to kill off PGG. The damage from the Radiance and the Dispersion might be enough. In fact, it will. However, she's going to get cleaned up in the end. Now Shot's still going to try to TP out. The escape is going to succeed, and Soniko will also survive. Centaur was unfortunately not a really relevant part of that fight. It's going to be a 2-for-2, but that was definitely a fight that Moscow 5 were happy to take as they finally get initiation on their own terms.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty large gold swing going in their favor, especially for the Medusa, gaining 500 gold throughout all of that, and a lot of experience also going their way. It's 2 supports for the Spectre and a support, which is a trade that Moscow 5 are going to be happy to make any time of the day. If PGG didn't turn for that last Bloodlust, I think, is what he was looking to cast. He would have survived, I think, from the Radiance Burn and the Dispersion. But either way, it's still going to be a happy trade, mostly because Blow Your Brain survives. Blow Your Brain currently farming incredibly fast, at almost nearing that 10 CS a minute mark, as he's just been able to have his way inside his own jungle. And after dying a lot in the early game, hasn't fallen since. So Blow Your Brain is going to be pretty happy with how this game is going right now, and maybe this Medusa is going to be able to carry for Moscow 5. I still say they're on the back foot, but a couple more fights like that, and they're going to be well on their way back into this game.
Yeah, M5, they're just buying time for this Medusa. You mentioned before that all their chips are on this Medusa, and that's completely true. Power Rangers, because they don't have 100% of their reliance on the Spectre, should be making some sort of plays for the high ground. Again, it's hard knowing that the Medusa has an Aegis, or had an Aegis, she doesn't have it any longer, to commit to that high ground push, but I mean, their Viper is so powerful right now, and he's going to become less so later on. Kind of the same thing for Cheshire Cat Centaur. This is, I feel, a lot of wasted time for Power Rangers. Their Spectre could make so many plays happen if they actually just went for it, but instead they're going to try to go for Vigos, force out a BKB charge. That's a 9-second, I believe it is. He's going to get back to the base and pick up Hearts, so all of a sudden Razor's very tanky again, doesn't have that much threat, so he's ignorable by the Power Ranger side, but the longer Power Rangers just sit here and farm, the bigger Medusa is going to get, and that's really concerning. As powerful as a late-game Spectre is, I personally believe that late-game Medusa is just a little bit more potent.
Yeah, I think so as well. And eventually the Razor is going to be less than ignorable. If he picks up an Aghanim Scepter Refresher or something along those lines, the Razor's actually going to be a threat. Right now, he's just a tanky frontliner to draw attention away from the Medusa, and if he's able to do that, even if he dies, they're still going to be happy about it, as they're going to swap the Medusa away, but the Hoof Stomp is going to miss as well. King R might fall here, but then again, with the ultimate on Blow Your Brain, they're putting a lot of hurt into Cheshire Cat, although they are going to be forced back, and with Force Staffs, the Vengeful Spirit's going to survive as well. Cooldown's being spent by Moscow 5, but then again, nobody dies, so that's completely acceptable for them.
Yeah, drawing out a hunt is always going to be worthwhile. Someone might die. Ancient Apparition. Sniper. He's going to land the chilling effect onto King R, but that's not lethal, I don't believe. Everyone else should be just fine. So, unfortunately, even though Ancient Apparition does have a level 2 ultimate that is Aghanimed, not enough to actually kill off anyone. But this is still a level 14 Ancient Apparition with an Aghanim Scepter. This dude is going to be doing so much damage in these team fights, assuming Power Rangers can actually get fights on their own terms. And they're going to try to go for it over on mid, but Spectre doesn't have Haunt, so I don't think this is actually a viable way to go just yet for Power Rangers. If you're going to go for a push, I feel like they missed it by like 7 minutes-ish. Could have gone earlier. And if they're going to go for their next push, then I feel like it's going to be with Spectre's Haunt and with her packing the Manta style.
Yeah. Right now, Medusa is going to be angling towards Butterfly, picking up some evasion for herself, which will negate a decent amount of damage coming up from the Viper as well as from the Spectre. It's an okay item choice. I would have loved to see a little bit more damage coming out from the Medusa, and maybe we're not even going to see the Rapier at all this game, potentially going for an MKB if Spectre gets a Butterfly of her own. Although, Spectre is currently working towards the Manta style, and isn't going to have a Butterfly for quite some time if she does decide to go for it. HF version Ice Blast lands in mid, is going to put some damage into these groups, then cleaned up by the Centaur. Both teams are being able to put a decent amount of damage on either side as the Razor gets a solo kill. No, it's a kill with the Batrider onto the Scarlet Mage. Completely missed that, sorry about that.
That is going to kill off the Scarlet Mage and at the same time pick up his gem. So Scarlet Mage is getting caught a little bit off guard by the Batrider, and then Razor just going to town. And that's now a gem denied to the Power Rangers, and M5 feeling pretty confident right now. No, Scarlet Mage is still a fight that Power Rangers can take if they're willing to, and it looks like they're going to do just that. Here comes a TP in from the Spectre. She has a Haunt as well. She's going to throw a dagger first and hit absolutely no one with it, but PGG's on the front lines. He's getting a nice Ignite multicast, but I don't think that's going to be relevant. He's going to get burned down by the poison. Now JG Raw is going to try to run forward, but the Hoof Stomp onto 2. Blow Your Brain is going to be ignored as they're trying to go for Vigos instead, who's going to instantly TP out of here. No, canceling it. Now trying to go for the Spectre, who's turned to stone. He's going to get annihilated. Where's the rest of the Power Rangers heroes? They need more support. Then here's the support back from the Spectre. Tron's going to TP out, as will, I believe, the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to catch Blow Your Brain on his way out, so I don't think this Medusa is going to survive. Vigos will limp his way back home. That costs Power Rangers a buyback on their Spectre, but I think in the end they got an even fight out of it. It's still a lot of gold that the Spectre really would not want to buy back for, but Medusa down? I don't know. Do you think that's worth it?
They're going to get Roshan on top of it, so I think it's fine for Power Rangers. But then again, I think Medusa is going to be able to come back without using her buyback, so in that sense, I think it's still okay for Moscow 5. It's not a very clean-cut trade either way. Spectral Dagger, I think that's going to spot out Vigos, or at least get very close to, and I think it actually did spot him out, especially since Cheshire Cat goes onto him. He's very tanky with the heart, with an HF version Ice Blast not landing. He will be able to escape back to the base, although Roshan is going to be defended. Batrider is still there with the Flame Break. He's spotted out by the Ward, throws the Flame Break into the pit, and that'll bounce back a couple of heroes. So looking for the steal. King R's inside the pit as the Aegis is picked up by the Spectre on the sidelines. PGG force staff away out of the Skyroth Mage ultimate. Vigos, he wants to jump back in. He doesn't have a lot of mana to speak of, but everybody's so low on the side of Power Rangers. Their Medusa is not close at all. Currently trying to chase anybody down. They can't cancel his TPs. Buyback spent by Blow Your Brain. Now it's a win for Power Rangers.
Oh, now this is a huge win for Power Rangers. They force a fight, and even though there was a Batrider on the other end, and even though there was a swap on the other end, they got in without having to deal with the swap, and Batrider never got his chance to get a lasso off. So Power Rangers, they kill off the Vengeful Spirit, who, made the baller attempt and, tried to jack the Aegis. Unfortunately, didn't work out for her. Power Rangers get the Aegis, and they don't lose anything. They make a successful retreat, and now that the Spectre has Haunt in 15, this is going to be the best time for Power Rangers to make a serious play. The Spectre is also going to have her Manta style completed, so yeah, Power Rangers are going to be so powerful right now, and they should be looking to push some set of Raxes. Don't even care which one. Maybe go bottom, maybe go top, but no matter what, they should be looking for another substantial goal in this game right now.
I think that's fair. The Medusa doesn't have 2 lives, and if they're able to focus her down, that's it for the Medusa, and that could turn a 1-lane push into a 2-lane push, or maybe even more if they're able to keep her down, as the buyback is going to be on cooldown for about 5 minutes, and the Spectre is going to have a little bit of window where she's going to have buyback where the Medusa doesn't, but most importantly, the Aegis on the Spectre is going to be very crucial for them. Right now, they're not grouping up as a team, just kind of split farming. It looks like the push is going to come mid eventually. Med style pop by Sheshlo. We'll put a little bit of chip in this tower as they TP back their Medusa. Very low committed from PR in order to do so. Right now, they're going to throw a dagger inside the base just to get some vision and potentially controls. The Centaur jumps in, finds the stun to Medusa, although this defensive swap is going to give up King R's life, but saving Blow Your Brain. They're looking for engagement on the backlines. This Blow Your Brain's able to get a pretty good ulti off. It hasn't frozen anybody yet, and the Force Staffs are going to keep PR safe. Ultimate pop by the Spectre, trying to fight up into this. As Blow Your Brain's not being focused down, although now with the Viper Strike is going to be forced to Force Staff away as the Bat Rider as well as the Bench died. PGG also going to suffer a similar fate as Blow Your Brain now held down, silenced up. He's going to fall, and that's a Medusa without buyback, and that's a godlike spree for Shashlo, and GG called out by Moscow 5. There's nothing else that they can do.
Yep, I feel like they probably could have done that a little bit earlier, but again, the Razor didn't do anything except for, you know, sitting in the middle, maybe getting a link off with a little bit of Eye of the Storm damage, but overall Razor was completely useless in this game, and Medusa is going to need 2 more items if she actually wants to be able to fight 1v5 against the initiating power of Power Rangers. So after all of these issues, guys, it is going to be Power Rangers taking game number 1. A really nice display of the supports, I would say. Power Ranger supports making so many kills happen around the map.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, into game number 2, we are going to go fairly quickly, and hopefully it's not a long wait and we don't have any remakes. So see you soon. We've been HeflaTV, and if you like the casting, you can follow us here. Either way, see you in game number 2.